We're,
Sure.
we're live. With,
Okay. How are you gonna go live when I'm making faces at you like that? That's not fair. That's not nice.
no, I already pressed it, but it just took a little bit to load. We're live.
Hi.
The Etsy Challenge fan page. We have Jay, we have D, we have RJ. Hello, what's going on? What's up, guys? What's going on? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It's Friday.
Oh, it's Friday. Nice. I don't even know what day it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, most of the times I don't know what day of the week it is either. I'm like, what day is it? What do I have to do? Yeah, it's kind of one of those things.
All right, guys. So if you guys are just hopping in, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. Show some love. Comment if you have any questions, of course. Oh, whatever. That's not the one. This is the one. Today's topic.
Holla.
Stop lurking and get started.
Yeah, man.
Stuff. He's saying morning. Are you down under or across the pond or something? I guess down under would do it. Which is probably top of the world for you, or are you just waking up? What's up, Christine?
So happy Saturday over there, right? All right.
Frank.
I don't want to confuse everybody, but something like that.
Yeah.
Saying hi, Frank. What's up? All right, so like the topic, stop lurking and get started. This can go anywhere, right? I think it can go anywhere.
I mean, I feel like this is literally just a mantra for like a decent life. Hi, Stacy.
Hey.
See you in like 2 days. Anyhow, I feel like this is like the mantra of life, like stop lurking and start doing, or like get started. Because honestly, there's so many things that you probably want to do in your life that like you just snooze on, or like you give yourself an excuse not to do in place of doing something else, right? And like every single time you do that in your life and you say no to yourself on something that you actually want and you're interested in, like a little part of your soul just dies, like, and it doesn't grow back. It's not like it's like if you were to have like 5 fingers, like we all do, right? And then like every time you said no, you cut off one thumb or like one finger, like eventually you have no hands, right? Like, because literally you're just not giving yourself the opportunity or the potential, or like saying that you believe in yourself enough to actually even take that chance and try. So I think, that's a very important distinction to be making. It's like when we designed the Etsy challenge, like when we first launched this challenge last year, our major thing was like, we want to work with action takers, right? Like we want to work with people who are going to go through this challenge with this, knowing that it's live only for that 30 days, knowing the content disappears at the end of that 30 days, and just saying, you know what, I'm going to show up every day for that 30 days. I'm going to apply myself to the best of my ability. I'm going to take the action steps that the coaches tell me. I'm going to work hard on my shop, and I'm going to see what happens as a result, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like, naturally, of course, coming through that 30 days, you're going to have some things, like things crop up, like life happens, right? So like, last year what we had was there's a few places, I think it was like wildfires, right? And then all of a sudden they were being evacuated and they couldn't be on the internet. Naturally, that was happening to a bunch of different people, right? Like that wasn't one point in time thing. And we ended up just keeping the challenge open a few more days. I think it was actually a week or so, to allow those people to catch up at the end, because they couldn't access it during that time because there was something happening in their life. Those things are natural things. But what didn't happen for those people, and I mean legitimately did not, is because when that started happening through the challenge, those people didn't say, oh, like, hey, I quit, I can't do anything. Do you know what I mean? All of those people showed back up and went through the course content and still applied themselves. And I feel like that's the difference between winning when you're doing online sales, or really like winning at life, is like being chippy, being scrappy, knowing some stuff's going to get thrown at you. Maybe you don't understand something. Maybe you try something you do wrong and you blow something up. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're going to keep going forward. You're going to keep pushing and keep finding the ways in which you can win, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like when we're talking about the subject of like stop lurking, start doing, it's applicable not just for this Etsy challenge if you're sitting on the fence, but it's applicable for life in general. Stop wishing, start working,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even to your point with the people from last year that were, impacted by the fires, as terrible as it was, and yes, we gave them a few extra days because it's through no fault of their own, right? Like that the fires were there, that sort of thing. But they were dying. They were even coming in, dying to get back at it, and coming in and being like, I think I only have a few hours before they evacuate my town. I might not be, around tomorrow. They're doing rolling blackouts and brownouts to save power, that sort of thing. But they were like, okay, well, I'm coming on to watch like the replay later. I won't be able to do it between this and this time. And, that's the kind of thing, like that's the kind of person challenger we're hoping to have, right? Like is the action takers. And that's why this content disappears, right? Like, if it was just going to be, there forever, then it's just a course. You've paid for it. It's going to sit on the shelf like a lot of the books you've bought or whatever else, right? Like I know with me, like I love, I'll buy video games, or like I was going to say a book, but I haven't bought a book in a long time that it was like a tangible paper book, some online reading material. But honestly, like if you buy something and you have it forever, you're less inclined to take that action, right? And that's the whole point behind these challenges, is like to get you, off the fence, off the couch, taking action in your shop. And the best part about taking action with your Etsy shop is that Etsy rewards you for taking action in your shop, right? So it's like, it's a double-edged sword in the best way possible. It's a win-win for everybody. So I don't know.
With that being said, let me just hop into this real fast. Last day to join the Etsy challenge. So today's the last day, and we're gonna close the cart. So
yeah, we got 7 hours.
Yeah, 7 hours.
20 minutes.
Midnight. Yeah, midnight. Yeah, midnight's closing. You got to get in right now. Well, got to get in right, and then it's closed, and there's nothing else you can do. Monday it starts. Today's the last day, so sign up. I'm pretty sure you guys know what you're gonna get, and let me just give it to you one more time.
Yeah.
So you get 30 days of live training Monday through Friday with the weekends off, exclusive content and business strategy, branding and marketing assistance, opportunity to have your Etsy shop reviewed privately. Okay. Bonus 1, private Facebook group. Bonus 2, branding webinar. Bonus 3, influencer marketing mini crash course. Bonus 4, research webinar. Bonus 5, ideal customer bootcamp course. I think bonus 6, 5-day newbie course to get you warmed up for the pre-challenge. And then 2 more bonuses left. AMA, Ask Me Anything. The last bonus, private 30-day access to 3 experts in e-com. Us 3.
Yeah.
Us 3.
That's the thing. So like, this is a lot of stuff that you're getting with this challenge. And so that actually plays perfectly into the first question that we have on this live, which is from Amna Alam, which is or it might be Amna Alam. So I apologize if I am saying your name wrong, but it's at 7:37 if you want to highlight it. So she says, how much time should we set aside per day for the month during the challenge? Okay. And so this is actually a great question. It's one that was asked on one of our earlier lives, and like one that I've seen people asking in groups. Basically what we're saying is that every single day of our lives, we intend to go live for a solid hour. Okay. How we structure that is it's 45 minutes of content followed by 15 minutes of Q&A for you guys to ask your questions about the content that we have just gone over that day, or any other pressing questions that you have as it relates to your specific Etsy shop, okay? We really do try to stay tight on that hour deadline, because we know that if you're working on other things, or if you're working on multiple different streams of income, like maybe you're working full-time and this is your part-time thing, or maybe you've got 4 other kinds of business, maybe you're doing some KDP, some merch, some Etsy, some eBay, whatever. We want to make sure that you guys know every single day that it's just going to be the hour of that content that you have to watch if you want to watch that day's content, okay? Then separately from that, we suggest having at least 1 hour outside of the live in order to be working on your shop, okay? So it's really 2 hours a day at minimum from Monday until Friday. Now, naturally, the more time that you spend really understanding the content and applying that content in your store, naturally there's generally going to be more activity that happens in your store as a result of that time, right? Whether that activity presents itself as more listings for different people to purchase, better SEO, like, or better optimization across all of the different listings that you have in your Etsy store, or just deeper understanding that helps you really craft and brand a store that is like the perfect match for the audience that you're trying to target, ultimately, the more time that you put into it, the better the result you get out of it, right? So that being said, while it is a minimum of 2 hours, we often see people spending, 4, 6, 7 hours on that day's content, not necessarily every single day, but on stuff that they really need to learn or they really want to apply to their shop, okay? So realistically, it's a minimum of 2 hours a day. If you're brand new to Etsy and you want to learn all of the things, you're going to be there every day on the lives, and then have that hour. So the other thing I want to mention here is this year we changed the script up a little bit. So last year we were doing pretty much daily content with 1 or 2 implementation days sporadically throughout the content for you guys to catch up if something crazy happened in life or you just didn't have the time to join us or whatever. Okay, this time around we're doing it Monday to Friday only. So that means on the weekends you have that extra weekend to basically go back and go over something that you might have missed or catch up on some of the implementation if all you do all week long is basically study the lives, okay? So ultimately, the whole point of this challenge is for you guys to be able to basically dictate for yourselves, A, how much time you're going to apply to this, and B, when that time is going to be spent in your schedule, right? We love it to see you guys come on live with us because obviously it's a different experience when you're live. You get a direct answer to a question that you have when you're live, all of that kind of stuff. It's very quick, keeps you motivated, keeps you kind of moving forward on doing the things that we're teaching you and telling you to do. If you can't attend live though, we do organize all of these videos and all of the content surrounding them into units in the private Facebook group for you so that you can very easily go back and watch any subject areas training that you might have missed. So I hope that helps to answer your question.
No, you got it, D, for sure. You definitely got it. I think it just also too, you may have I think when it comes to learning, you may have an off day, right? And that's totally fine. And that's why we kind of give the weekends for you to catch up on certain things. Even that day you might have a headache or something, right? And it's totally normal, or you're not feeling well or something. That's why you can just that day you take a break and then catch up on Saturday or catch up on Sunday. You know what I mean? So that's why we give you the option to have the weekends off so you can catch up on certain things. And that's why we have that in play. Because last year we had people like, whoa, this is crazy. I can't keep up with all this. And I'm just like, I'm over here trying to help you guys understand. I'm barely keeping up too over here. And I know you guys know because you guys see me wake up at 6 o'clock in the damn morning. And I'm not a morning person, but once I get going, then I get going. Because then after the challenge was over, I was waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning for no damn reason. I was like, what am I doing?
It's like every habit forming thing for sure. I remember feeling that way too because I'm not a morning person either, and I feel for you getting up at 6 because we're just getting up at 9 here on the East Coast. For real, I'm not a morning person either. Like Jay and Stacy are more morning people, and they're always like they don't even message me most of the time until 10:30 because they know my ass ain't getting out of bed. Excuse the French. But
11:30.
Yeah. 10:30, normally I'm rolling out at around 10, but don't talk to me for an hour. Come on.
Yeah.
I need at least that hour to have my coffee, wake up, chill, do all that other stuff. But that's also part of the beauty of working for yourself, right? You can kind of pick your hours, provided that your industry can match, that kind of hours. Like if I had customers in my store, or I was targeting people that were early birds, you know what I mean? Obviously it'd have to be up for it, if people were messaging me or whatever. But most of my people only actually message me between 2 or 1 and 5. 1 and 5 most of the time is when I get most of my customer inquiries. So Lord, I don't even have to get out of bed until 12:30 if I don't want.
So funny because Meredith was saying, I remember you were there last year. She said she's in again this year, which is awesome. It's just a testament, right? How much fun it was too, on top of everything that you learned. But saying it was nuts. So this year, for those asking, it's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard, so it'll be 6 a.m. Pacific Standard if you're on the West Coast, but 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, it was nuts, and I feel like we all aged in that 30 days, right? We only had like 4 days off the entire time or something, like, and they weren't
apply me into your agingness.
Well, no, yeah, everybody but D looked like, the rest of us looked like severely. D looked the same. She looked good. It was all right. But we all looked like we aged a few years by the end of it. So having the weekends off to kind of maybe sleep in 2 hours and then, get to work on your shops, catch up, go through the stuff you missed, all that content, though it's disappearing at the end of the challenge, it will be there for the duration of the challenge. So if you family calls and duty calls or whatever it is for 2 days, you can go back there and catch up on those lives, ask your questions. We'll be in the groups, in the Facebook group for the entire, I guess it's almost 6 full weeks, right? So yeah. And then the other thing is what was William saying there? Dang, everything good happens when I'm broke. I'm like, man, you're getting the equivalent of 40 days here, including weekends now, right? So it's 30 days.
The value is insane here. Like, honestly, sometimes I'm looking at that value ladder where it shows you what we would charge for these things separately. And I'm like, are we crazy? Like, are we for real? Are we nuts to do this for $97? And I think in some ways we are crazy. Like, in some days, we really do want you to show up and get as much value as is humanly possible out of the content that we're building for you, all of the bonuses, the community, everything, all of that, right? But at the same time, I kind of think, because also we understand that so many people, especially this year, are going to be brand new to Etsy that are joining us, brand new to maybe even selling online. We obviously wanted to keep the price reasonable so that anybody can enter. Literally, anybody can figure it out and be scrappy and come join us for this 30 days, right?
And that's the thing.
I just want to say a caveat. If you're struggling hardcore right now to maybe pay your rent or something like that, and it's the difference maybe between paying your light bill or paying your Etsy challenge fee, absolutely do not pay the Etsy challenge fee.
Pay your rent.
Pay your rent. Stay safe, have your lights on, be comfortable in your surrounding, and for real, hopefully you can start working hard and getting sales or generating some kind of income in a different way. We don't ever want you to put yourself in a bad situation to come join us here, right? Mm-hmm. But that being said, we know the value of this content, right? When we say we have sold these things separately for those prices that you see listed, that is 100% legit. People will actually pay even more than what we listed on our sales screen for some of the things that we've offered there and we've priced the way that we have, right? So that being said, if it's not a situation that's more dire and it's just kind of a matter of, I need to move a little bit of money around here or there, and you're going to have the time in your schedule to apply yourself to this content, then absolutely show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, quite literally, I just did the math real quick. $97 across the 40 days total is just under, it's $2.42.5 a day. So if you're one of those people who says I don't have the scratch or whatever, but you have, enough money to go buy a pack of smokes or go buy a coffee on your way to work or whatever you're doing that day. If you're buying a coffee every day, you've got the money to do this, to make more money and maybe have a little bit more coffee money at the end of that month, right? Or that 6 weeks. So, I mean, or sit outside Starbucks. There you go. You're going to burn more money by the time the challenge is done if you're using the Starbucks Wi-Fi, if you're doing it at Starbucks, than you will having had paid for the challenge itself, right? So, yeah, I mean, Christine says it there. Absolute amazing value at $97. We have a few people in here that have taken it last year with us, and they're excited, just as excited as we are to go through it again, right? So, I mean, that's a testament that it was at least worth double. So
I think that's 10 Starbucks trips, maybe even 5, because damn well you're not spending less than $10 if you go to Starbucks, right? You're spending at least 15 to 20. Because you go get Starbucks and everybody else wants something.
Starbucks because I buy for Jay and Stacy.
$20, easy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'm meanwhile, yeah, you guys want Starbucks? We're heading down. I'm I just, yeah, whatever. I don't know what to order. I'm a coffee guy with like some cream and sugar,
Yeah.
all these fancy stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, tastes good. Sure.
And also too, just kind of just throw this out there too. Just we had so many successful challengers, students, friends, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? People last year that were really like they crushed it, and then we built a relationship with them, and they're still with us to this day, and they have nothing but good things to say about us, I think. And it's really cool to see that too as well, because they know that we provide the value, and like as far as the community knows as a whole, like we deliver, right? And there's no buts or nothing about any of that. And these are just 100% facts that we deliver. We bring probably like when it comes to bringing the value and helping people, we probably help the most people in this community, and we keep doing that, and we're going to keep on doing it. And that's just the way it is. And this is not like this is a day-to-day thing. Like me personally, myself, I make content to help thousands and thousands of people, and I still do it to this day. Like if this challenge didn't happen, I'll still be helping thousands and thousands and thousands of people, right? And that's something that you can't take away from me, because I enjoy doing it. And then same thing with J&D too as well. And now we team up together, we help each other, we're in this together. We've been in it together for about like a year and a half now, I want to say. So now it's just like, dude, it's
well, and I think that's an important point too, because like if you like look for some of our stuff, like I have a bunch of free stuff. RJ has the YouTube channel that has a bunch of free training that you can access there. Jay and I worked on the Etsy crash course together, which is a paid course, but I mean, even then, arguably, that paid course is like the A to Z on Etsy. And I feel like we still have undervalued that. So, you know what I mean? Like for what the value of that course is and what you actually get out of it. Like we're constantly here trying to answer questions, trying to help people figure out their niches, figure out their stores, figure out what to sell, make more money, and do all of that stuff. And we do have a bunch of free stuff. And truthfully, it just kind of gets to a point where you're doing all this stuff for free, and it's taking so much of your time that at some point you do need to package something and sell it so that you're getting something back for all of that time that you're spending. With that being said, similar to the point that RJ just made, like if we're looking at the value of this course, like this 30 days for $97, and all of the things that you get as a result of that, many of the bonuses that you actually just get to keep forever and use over and over and over again, regardless of whether you're shopping or you're working on an Etsy store, you're working on a Shopify, or you're working on a WooCommerce, or whatever you're working on. I feel like, that kind of stuff is super valuable. And like, if you're sitting on the fence wondering if it's worth the $97, like I can promise you, even one of those bonuses is worth the $97 alone. The community itself is worth the $97 alone. The content that you're going to see in that 30 days, if you buy nothing else but just a seat in this challenge, is worth that $97, right? So it's just one of those things that like I just kind of wanted to reiterate on the point that RJ is making there. Like, we're all positive people. We're all always trying to help, and like we really do go above and beyond for people who are trying to learn from us, and that's whether you're engaging with us on one of our free things or one of the platforms that we put videos out on or something like that, or whether you're in a paid course with us. Like our success in this course really does come down to you guys, right? Like what you do, how you apply what you learn, whether you think that this course was valuable in the end, and whether you want to come back and do it again with us again later on down the line, maybe next year. You know what I mean? Like all of those things play for us in terms of we want to make sure that we're gonna deliver the best challenge we're humanly capable of delivering every single time we do it.
For sure. I mean, it's tough to one up last year, but we managed to do it, right? Like it's kind of mind blowing what you're capable of when you put your mind to it, and that even bodes true for us as the three of us here. Like how the hell are we going to top last year's? Like how is that even possible? And it's not a matter of like adding prizes or anything like that. It's like actual content. So people go through this from A to Z or A to Z if you're in the States. How do you make it different and better. And then you start thinking about it like, well, the platforms are changing, so we have to kind of amend some of the content. And the second thing is like, it's just I don't know. Lost my train of thought, but I had a point. Sorry, I'm super excited. That's all. But yeah, no.
Where you're going is you're basically just trying to say that at the end of the day, because I said we definitely have tried our best to make sure that like every challenge we do, it is the best challenge that we do. And I think if I'm kind of catching your wavelength, where you were going with that was you were saying, absolutely, we tried to one-up ourselves from last year. We didn't know how we were going to be able to do it. This year, we've rejigged some things. We've gone back over the feedback that we got from last year, where some people were like, I wish this was explained in more depth, or I wish this thing we had a little bit more time with, or I wish I had, weekends off to catch up. Again, we've thrown that all into the challenge this year, learning from, what we did last year and what could make a better experience for everybody, ourselves included. Because like, that's another thing. We all learn from each other during this experience. And I feel like that is such an important part, because honestly, I'm really good at marketing. I'm really good at communications. I'm really good at web stuff and techie stuff, but maybe I'm not as good in some ways at like physically designing something, or at like delegating some of the work out to other people and trusting that those people are going to be able to do it to my level of comfort. And those are two major things. Like, Jay's an amazing designer. He also has a different flip that a different, look or a different perspective that he brings to the table. Same with RJ. Like, RJ has this whole network of like VAs working for him doing this, and he's delegating that, and that frees up his time and allows him to do a whole bunch of different things. And I'm always sitting there like, oh, RJ, teach me your dirty secrets, because I need to know these things. You know what I mean? And it's like, truthfully, we all learn from each other, as coaches, even as we're going through this challenge. Like, there's so many things that just kind of live in Jay's head or live in RJ's head that I just don't know about. And then somebody will ask a question in this course at some point, and then it's like a knowledge bomb. And I'm like, damn, that was really smart. I'm like, wow, like, wow, I just learned something,
Christine says there, like, yeah, I hate when I do that. Get this great point, trying to make it, and partway through explaining it, forget what it was. It's just, it's a combination of being so excited for this to happen and start finally, and just being, I don't know, excited that everyone's going to join us again and we get to go through everything again. Like, I don't know, the best part for me, like I've said before, is the community itself, is the people in it. To me, the challenge itself and building your shops and getting the momentum going and stuff like that, I mean, that's ultimately what 99% of the people, the challengers, join us for, right? But the best part for me is like having the communities supporting each other, celebrating, successes. We make fun of our failures because you have to make fun of yourself in a way, right? Yeah, you can't be too proud. But it's seeing people say, hey, tomorrow, like, let's say we have, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've gone through like 3 or 4 days of stuff. Something clicks and somebody comes in the next morning and was like, oh my God, I tried this last night. I got my first sale, or something like that. Right. So it's like those moments to me, and then all the love they get from everybody else in there, that's what we're all about. That's what I'm all about. Right. Like, I want to see everybody just apply at least half of what we're telling you. And there's no way you should be like, sitting in the dumps or sidelines and not taking action. You should want to take action, right? Because it only bodes well for everybody. I don't know. You can't feel super stoked about it. So
it's crazy because it's like we get the people in there, then we want to make it a positive learning experience for everyone. And I think that's really awesome, because I've always been like that, man. I don't even know. Like, even I always bring up my grandpa too, by the way. I love him. Hi, if you're watching. He would, like, every time there's like an argument or something like that, like, he would tell me like, hey, you always have a good heart and you always see the positive in everything. You try not to be negative and bring a negative conversation to the table, right? That's not you. You're not to sit there and talk about someone else and put someone else down. And this is the same environment that, like, I love. And we create that, right? And I think that's really cool, right? I think that's really awesome that we can do that and bring that positive environment to help others out and help people learn, to help people grow, to help people make more money, to help people bring food to the table, to help people pay their rent, to help people take their
Well,
kids places.
Well, and it helped change some damn lives. Like, here we go. And all that stuff, it all kind of boils down to that. Like, what you can do on an Etsy shop, what you can do for your own lifestyle, what you can do for yourself. If you apply yourself and you learn and you take the actions and you do that on a consistent and repeated basis, honestly, it's like night and day. Like, I look back on my life when I was employed corporately and what my day-to-day things were and how I felt in my skin and in my life and about where I was going in the next maybe 5 or 10 years. And I compare that to how I understand I feel now. And it's like a completely different life almost. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like that life I had before, it was just so different. It was so much more, I guess, constrained and controlled by things that were outside of my control. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think as human beings, like, naturally, there are always going to be things that are outside of our control, right? Like, you can be a control freak and try to like micromanage every little part of your life, or you have to at some point recognize that like there are certain things that are outside of my control and there are certain things that are inside of it. And I need to focus on what's on the inside in order to like, you know, advance my life or achieve my goals or do whatever else. But I just think, you know, the lifestyle changes alone, you know what I mean? That come the freedom alone that comes from being able to make my own schedule, being able to determine when and how I work and where I work from. All of that stuff is invaluable. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, even if it's you know, maybe you have $100 left at the end of the month because you've taken some action and you're having a few more sales. $100 at the end of the month could be, you know, gas in your tank for the next week coming or two, depending on how far you're driving. It could be treating somebody, your you know, your significant other, your parent, your son, daughter, whatever, like somebody that matters to you, or just a friend, having a chance to go out and maybe for a dinner or you know, have a drink or relax with a friend, like having a little bit of money to enjoy what I consider the finer things, right? Is spending the time with the people that matter the most to you. I mean, it doesn't always have to cost money, but just knowing that you have that there makes it easy. If you're invited out somewhere and you know you're not really sure if you want to go or do whatever, well, at least you know you can, you know, if you have a couple bucks extra, it makes it all so much easier. I mean, for me, it was a complete lifestyle change in terms of getting out of the corporate environment, but just knowing that, you know, so I spoke to somebody who made a lot of money once upon a time, and that's kind of like, you know, I'll never forget it. He was like, the goal is to make money when you're not working, right? So we do all this work on our stuff, and if you're going to work every day, you're making money, hourly, salary, whatever. But when you're working on your own stuff, when you go to sleep, you'll still hear, you got to remember to turn off the phone, because like sometimes you're hearing that ka-ching, ka-ching from the Etsy app, right? So the whole goal is to wake up and then see sales, right? Like, you don't want to be it's not like the shop only makes sales when you do. So all the work you're putting in is for yourself to reap the rewards at the end of the day. And it's, you know, it's not like these shops, like a brick and mortar, close down at 5 p.m. or, you know, 9 p.m. or anything like that. They go 24/7. So like, I don't know. The opportunity is incredible for what you can accomplish with putting time in for yourself, right? Bettering yourself. None of us do enough of this, right? Like, and you need to kind of self-assess, like, oh, I got this 5-year plan. Well, you know what? You're in year 3 of your 5-year plan. Have you gone anywhere? Have you done anything? Are you any more ahead of where you were 3 years ago? Or are you going to start over or are you just going to be, you know, depressed for the next 2 years because you're not even close to your goals, right? So this is a low barrier to entry, $97, and you can start taking action immediately. We give at the end of every day's trainings, there's action steps, right? And there's some like intermediate and some more advanced. So, you know, there's kind of like a 2-tier thing there. So maybe you already know the basics, the nuts and bolts of what we've kind of discussed. We'll give you a little bit of something, action steps that you can go after that training today. And that goes to what Emma was asking before in terms of how much time to spend. But we're going to give you homework for that day. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's how much you want to, you know, it might be one action step that takes 5 minutes. But if you want to do a more in-depth kind of, I guess, actioning of that step, you can spend hours on it if you want, right? I don't know. So much value, so much
it's
It's
crazy because it's like the beginner steps in like pretty much most of my online businesses they're still there to like this day. They apply every single damn day, right? And I'm just like, okay, don't forget, like, you know what I mean? Don't forget to do this. And I'm like still reminding myself to this day about the beginner steps. And like it's literally about being consistent at the end of the day. If you're consistent, it's gonna grow. This is the way it is. It's like that's consistency is key. Very important that you guys understand that. Having good keywords consistently is key, right? Having a good design is key. Like consistently, it's key. Like consistent, like it applies to every single thing that you do on your online business. It's being consistent, and that's never gonna go away. And once you start growing too, you're gonna realize that too as well. As you get to that next level, you're like, damn, just doing the same thing over and over, and it's working, and it's working. And it might not work sometimes, but then it works another time, and then it just keep at it.
It might only be doing 2 things out of the million you're going to learn. But once you've got those 2 things down pat on lock, then you can implement the 3rd and 4th things, right? And then it's like lather, rinse, repeat, and expand. Everything builds on the day before, right? So
well, and I think that's the important part. Like if we apply the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the things that you're doing get 80% of the results. Like this course is really designed to help you focus on that 20, like what 20% is going to make the difference for your specific business, and naturally like for your specific Etsy shop as well, right? So it's really important to be, when like you're going through this content, really, really kind of asking yourself, okay, like, am I already good at one of these things that they're going to teach me how to do? Like maybe you already know all the ins and outs of setting up a decent Etsy listing, but like maybe your photos could use some work, or maybe, your keyword research could use some work, or maybe, just like consistency in terms of putting up new designs every single week could use some work. You know what I mean? Like you have to identify for yourself throughout this content and throughout this challenge, like what's the lowest hanging fruit? What's the easiest thing that you can start to implement right now that's going to have the most impact on your Etsy store going forward as you go through this challenge? And then afterwards, with those bonus content areas, like you can go back in and you can tweak all of that stuff. Once you've already got something working and you're already making some consistent sales, then you have a little bit more time and freedom to tweak that stuff. Like if you're in a situation right now where you're trying to get this Etsy shop up so that you can have some holiday spending money to buy your fam jams and like matching unicorn onesies, you know what I'm saying? I hear you, I feel you. And I'm saying, absolutely, it is time for you to like jump in, do the work, and then, you could have every onesie in every color that's a unicorn one. You know what I'm saying? And like you could have a unicorn onesie for every day of Christmas. I'm just telling you, it's possible.
Can you highlight Jessica's comment at 807, second last one? So Jessica's saying the extra income I have brought in has kept my husband from picking up extra hours as a medic. Not a bad thing right now with COVID-19. Absolutely. And this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly it right here. So you're offsetting some hours that, I implore him for being a frontliner that way, like first and foremost, especially through a pandemic. Thank him on behalf of everybody out there who's, been maybe unfortunate enough to have had to use his help in a way. But I mean, the fact that, is twofold, right? You're keeping him a little bit safer. Every little bit counts in the middle of a damn pandemic. Like you don't know what's going on. And the second thing is, if he's not picking up the shifts, maybe he's around and present, and you can, spend more time with him in the same breath, right? Because you're at home doing this Etsy stuff, right? So that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. A couple extra hours that you can save or pull back from in different ways. So I'm happy. I'm so happy to hear that that's the case for you guys, right? And I hope your husband stays safe. I hope you guys stay safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
real quick, we got some questions in here that I just think we want to hit real quick. So one was from earlier. It's at 7:40, and it's Renee. So what is that, like 4:40 your time, RJ?
Oh, I'm scrolling up 1 second.
Yeah. And she just says, I've started 2 new Etsy shops, and I have a shop that's 4 years old. Do you want us to concentrate on one shop for the challenge? And Renee, honestly, my honest answer to you is you concentrate on what you have time to do. Okay. So if you are good at multitasking, if you can set your day up where, you know, maybe our topic of the day for that day is keyword research and rewriting some of your product descriptions. Okay. And you have enough time in your day that day to do that for 2 different shops that you're working on, more power to you. Absolutely. But if you know yourself and you're like, well, I only have like the full 2 hours to apply, one of which is going to go to this live content, then you need to pick the store that's most likely to start making sales at like, or increasing sales quickly with these edits that you're about to make, right? And usually that's not a difficult choice when you do have more than one shop. Usually one shop is doing better than another shop. And it could be better in terms of, you know, your profit margins are better. So like maybe if you're selling downloadables, your profit margins are better because you upload it one time and then it sells multiple times and it doesn't really cost you anything except for your Etsy listing fee. Or better in terms of I get way more sales over here on this other store because this store is more established, right? So you just want to ask yourself, where is it best for you to use that time? And if you need some help identifying that, ask us in the challenge and we will help you parse apart, you know, where you should start. Okay. So
yeah.
then,
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to finish the thought there. I don't want to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say there was another question. So I was done. But
oh, okay. No, yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, basically the same thing as D. Like I would do whatever you have the bandwidth for, whatever you have the time for in that day. However, in one respect too, just know that if you see the ball start rolling in one of those 4 or 3 shops, sometimes it's easier to stay in that same vein, right? Like if you know that niche is hot right now and you might be getting some sales, assuming like at least 2 of your 3 shops are kind of niched a bit, you know already where you're getting the most return. I would probably concentrate on that one if you had to pick one, and then make it better, right? But yeah, by all means, if you have the bandwidth to, you know, apply everything to shop A, B, and C, then go for it, man. I mean, ultimately you're getting 3 times the bang for the buck, right? That way.
Yeah. Also, too, if you start doing it though, and then you see like you're spreading yourself too thin, like you gotta catch yourself real fast, and that's a challenge though, right? That's a challenge within itself because you're like, they're both doing good, but then I'm overdoing it. And I feel like I'm stressing myself out. We all do it, by the way. Don't get me wrong. We all do it, and you're like, all right, I'm 6 months later or 8 months later. I was like, I'm done with this. You know what I mean? So we all do it.
You definitely don't want to be half-assing anything to get it across 3 shops, right? You want to be putting solid focus in at least one as opposed to a third if you have to split up your time or something.
But I think also too, it just that applies to getting to know yourself and understanding who you are, and you know what I mean? And that's really cool too as well. That's something awesome.
yeah.
But again, I believe
oh, sorry, guys.
no, I'm just gonna say I believe she was with us last year, so she knows exactly. So we're, you know, I think we're
where we at, D? Which one? What was the next question?
Okay, so the next question is for Miraf. He says, is the live time the same time every day? And so yes, it is, because Joni K also asked that same question a couple comments down from you. Yes, it is the same time every single day. It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 o'clock in the morning RJ's time. And I think it's like, I want to say it's like 11 o'clock in Australian time, but Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m., 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Same time every single day. We show up every single day live. Some days we are dragging behind in terms of like, we look a little tired.
Lighted.
Yeah, you know, by the end of the challenge, you know, my whole hair might just be white instead of gray. I don't know. But I might have grown a beard. You're just going to call me Jay instead of like Dion. You know, it'll be RJ, Jay, and DJ at that point. You know what I'm saying? But we show up at the same time every single day.
Yeah, no, yeah, I definitely, people know, they can see it in my face, and this is the thing about going live, right? I can't like fake it or we can't fake none of it. We can't fake it at all. We're live. There's nothing we can do, right? That's a little bit different when you make like a YouTube video, right? I can mess up so many times and cuss at the camera and all that stuff and edit it out. And then it's like, oh, this is a good video. But nah, this is different. This is a live. We're going. So
yeah, and at 7:48, I think 4:48 your time said, did some people start? Stacy actually kind of answered it there, but did some people start at work on new shops the last time? I might start one. Absolutely. Like to Stacy's point, she answered it. Most did. Most people started with brand new shops. So if you have a shop to work on, great. If it's been sitting stagnant and you had sales and they dipped, and it's not exactly what you want to do, it might just be easier to start a new fresh one anyway. So yeah, don't shy away because you feel like you have to kind of revive an old shop. Totally up to you. You might even be thinking in a completely different train of thought for this time around. So yeah, don't sweat that. That's we'll show you how to do all of that. There was another question in there, but I can't see it right now. Oh, Debbie had a good point. 751 tax write-off too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Claim it. You have an account and you have business, write it off.
So then Amna had another question a little bit later on. I think it's like 8:05 or 4:05. No, that would be like 5:05 time. I was like, wait a second.
Right here.
Yeah, so sorry to bring this up here, but I signed up yesterday and wondering if the 5-day beginner access starts on Monday along with the challenge. So this is a question that we've actually gotten a lot. And I think it's because we tried to link the access to the 5-day beginner course directly from your confirmation email, but you actually have to be imported and on the platform that we use to host that in order for you to receive it. So if yesterday you clicked the link and you didn't have access, it's because there needed to be an email sent out to you that gave you access to that course. So like you can see the link, but you can't actually get into it until we set you up. Now, we have been doing that every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Like the confirmation email that you get should say, you'll be given access to the 5-day training course 24 hours after, within the 24 hours after you've purchased, okay? Some people aren't seeing those emails come through and they're later finding them in their junk email folders or their spam folders because we are going in there, like I said, multiple times a day to make sure that we are sending through that access. So just a quick point, if anybody else had this question who's watching this live right now, go check your spam folder, go check your junk mail. What you're looking for is an email from support@ReadyAimScale that invites you to that 5-day beginner bonus number 1, and then allows you to basically pick a password and just log in and see that bonus. It's important that you guys do that now because all of the remaining bonuses that come through the Etsy challenge are going to be delivered in that exact same area. Okay. So you want to make sure that if you don't have that email, just shoot us a quick support email, support@etsychallenge.com, and we'll resend you the invite. But that is where all of your bonuses are going to be held. So make sure that you are in there and you can access that link. Okay.
Oh, good job.
So then another quick thing I wanted to talk about, because this is called, Stop Lurking and Come Join Us, I wanted to kind of just go over some of the reasons, like if I was brand new to Etsy, I'm kind of just trying to think back to when, I was first getting started online and I was first maybe starting out with an Etsy shop or trying to be successful and why I might feel a little weird about whether I'm going to take this course or not. Okay. So if I'm being honest with myself, probably when I was first starting out, I don't know what I don't know. Right. So I think, well, do I really need this course? Because there's so many people. I can go follow this person on YouTube and I can get sign up to somebody else's email newsletter and they're going to give me some content about Etsy. And then there's the Etsy Seller's Handbook and I can read that. And then there's all these free Facebook groups that I can get information from. And absolutely all of those resources definitely do exist. So again, if you're in dire situations, you don't have the funds readily disposable to be able to invest in a course like this one, go utilize those free resources. Absolutely. But in terms of, what you're actually going to learn here, when you apply yourself to learning on those free resources, you get every single opinion under the sun. And opinions are like buttholes. Every single person has one. They're not always going to look the same or be the same, or even honestly be that well working. So when you start to think about it,
One way to put it.
Right. So when you really start to think about it, it kind of starts to build on itself, right? So like if you're going to follow one guru or one person that coaches or one person that's out there making content or something on Etsy, that person might not be selling the same things that you're selling. They might not have a whole bunch of experience. Maybe they only started selling on Etsy last year. You know what I mean? They might have some language barrier issues where like maybe it's not their first language and it's kind of hard for you to concentrate and you're not really sure. You're missing some of the points that that person's making and you have to go back and watch the video 5 times. You know, there's a whole bunch of different materials out there, but you end up spending a lot of time when you're focusing on those free materials, trying to parse apart what's going to work from what's actually not. Or if you spend your time over here, is this worth it for you to spend your time? This 30-day Etsy challenge has been designed that we are showing you like what's coming up next on a weekly itinerary every single week. We are basically going to be in there answering questions. So if you have those pressing questions, like, I don't know what to focus on, like what Renee just asked, we're going to help you figure out where it's best for you to spend your time, where we think you're going to get the best return on your $97 investment if you apply yourself and take the action. More than that, you're getting 3 different perspectives right here, all of which have run different kinds of businesses for different kinds of niches. Okay. So you're not just getting like one person who maybe sells like wedding, like invites, another person over here who only sells downloadables. Like we've all done a bunch of different stuff with our shops and sold in a bunch of different places. So you're getting like this very well-rounded, like kind of expert data, you know what I mean? Or expert opinion based on what we've actually done. Okay. And that's super important in my opinion. And then like the last thing I kind of want to mention is, like I'm saying, if it's a budget thing, fully understand, do you boo, go to the library, catch those free resources, put in some work, see if you can generate some extra budget. But the next thing I want to say is, if you want to accelerate your learning curve, this is definitely a great strategy for you to use in order to do so. And the reason is because 30 days of content disappears after that 30 days. So if you're somebody like I'm somebody, like I know I've bought courses that I'm not even kidding, I probably went into one time, okay? And it wasn't because I didn't mean to buy the course or because I didn't think that the course instructor was awesome and I was gonna learn stuff. It's because there was no real motivation for me to go do that learning, right? Like there was no group behind it. There was not really like a solid question and answer session. Like it was just kind of like, I'm going to do this when I have time, and there's nobody holding me accountable, or there's no one holding my feet to the fire to make sure that I'm actually going to register and use this content on a consistent basis. The 30 days being that it disappears at the end kind of forces you to use the content, right? Mm-hmm. If I had bought a course and it was in that structure, absolutely, I would have gone in there and it wouldn't just be something I accessed one time. So if you know that you need that kind of kick in the butt just to keep moving and to kind of bust through some of the procrastination or bust through some of the other distractions that are happening in your day so that you can stay focused on one thing, this is the time to join us, right? This is the kind of course that is going to give you the kickstart that you absolutely need in order to start seeing that momentum, in order to start really building that motivation for you to continue to be in your shop. Because if you don't know what you don't know, naturally you're going to be just listening to anything that sounds like it could be legit, and you don't have anyone to bounce that off of that has like some credibility, that's been doing this for a long time, that's helped other people be successful, to say, okay, like, well, should I focus on this or that? Right. So yeah.
That's a good point too, because like going back to when we started, we didn't have a challenge to go through. We didn't have YouTube videos. We didn't have, I don't know, like mentors or people we could ask, like a group of people that we could ask and get like maybe 3 different angles on the same answer, or to get to the same end result, right? None of that existed. Like when I started with print on demand, for example, it was my own version of print on demand. It was like literally hand making stuff, but only as orders came in. I didn't carry inventory, right? So it was like still printed and put together on demand, but I didn't have the money to buy these shirts, and nobody told me I could go to this wholesale place and get them discounted. I was buying stuff wherever I could buy stuff and paying a premium, you know, and then it's just being able to share the ideas and talk about it with people who are like-minded too in that same community, instead of the people maybe in your house who are tired of hearing about it or don't know what you're talking about, right? So there's, you know, being able to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, which you hit a crossroads. Where should I go? We can help you guide. We can help guide you in terms of which path to pick at that point, right? We never had this stuff, so this is the kind of thing that I want to be able to provide for everybody else, right? And you know, it's an acceleration in that you're getting like our collective years of experience, but you're not getting the first 4 years of mistakes we made either along the way, right? So I don't know. It's win-win for everybody, because the more you guys put in and get out of it, the better we can make it going forward also.
So like another objection that I just thought of while you were talking there, Jay, is that some people will say to themselves, oh, I don't have the time to apply 2 hours every day to learning and applying something to my Etsy store. Mm-hmm. What would you say to somebody who said that?
Well, then, I mean, what do you want to get out of it? I mean, what business are you going to try to get into that you don't have 2 hours to put towards, right?
Well, and I think that's such a key and clear part, right? Like at the end of the day, all of these things require work. And one of the biggest, I guess, criticisms of like online learning or online courses in general are people are like, oh, you know, they're trying to tell you that like you can just spend 15 minutes a day and make 15,000 a day. And that is not at all what we do here. In this Etsy challenge, like really, you get what you give, and that's the truth in any kind of business that you're going to put yourself into. The initial stages, if you're brand new to Etsy, you're going to be learning a lot. You're going to be applying what you're learning. You're going to be testing different things. You're going to be seeing the results of those actions, right? After you've had an Etsy shop and you're a little bit more seasoned, like maybe you know the components of a good listing, or you know how to take a pretty product photo, or like how to price your products competitively and all of that kind of stuff, there are still optimizations and refinements to be made. There are still different ways that you can grow and scale your business, either by outsourcing and delegating to VAs, by working with other kinds of partners who might be a quicker turnaround, by working with people who can help you get into wholesale, right? So there's a whole variety of different things that you know, you can apply to your business, but none of those things are honestly going to be taking off or getting a huge amount of traction if you don't even have 2 hours a day to spend implementing them, right? And if you talk to any business owner, like any business owner that isn't, you know, in a situation where like maybe daddy handed them the keys to their business, right? And it was already an established business and all you have to do is not run it off the cliff, you know, any business owner will tell you that generally speaking, during the first parts of your business ownership journey, you kind of eat, sleep, and breathe your business. And it's not necessarily that like you're stuck to your computer for, you know, all 24 hours of your day or something like that. But it's that when you've started something, you started to see, you know, those sales, you've gotten those little minor successes along the path. Your brain is always kind of thinking about what you can do next, what you can do differently, how you can expand, right? And then you start to kind of like literally eat, breathe, and sleep your business, because that's just always kind of milling around in the back of your head, right? So yeah, so you want to make sure that you at least have those 2 hours, okay?
I think also too, adding to that, let me add to that real fast. I think adding to it, it's just like one of the most important things. This is what I learned when I outsource. And I outsource because I suck at a lot of things, and I know that, and that's okay, and I'm perfectly fine with that because I'm badass at other things. Yeah, everyone sucks at a lot of things, but I'm badass at other things, and I know I'm good at, right? So it's like when I say that, I don't mean to like downplay myself. I say it because I'm being honest with myself, right? And that's totally fine. I think that once you learn and to perfect certain things in your business and you completely understand it, then so basically what I'm saying is spend 15 hours to learn the process, spend 12 hours to learn the process, spend 8 hours to learn the process. Then you can outsource, because it makes it easier for you to train the employee, the VA, the virtual assistant, and teach them the business. And then when they mess up on something, because it's going to happen, you teach them where they messed up at and show them why and what they did wrong and how to perfect it and to make it better, because you know everything. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go outsource it right away and make tons of money, and that's not how it works. It doesn't work that way.
You can't teach somebody how to build a house if you don't know how to build it yourself, right? You gotta, you gotta pay somebody to do it for you in that respect. So I mean, you're not gonna, a virtual assistant is an assistant, right? They're not, otherwise you're hiring somebody else to do it, and it's not the same at all. You need to know what you're doing before you can go train somebody, get somebody trained up to take some of the load off for you. So yeah, I don't know. That said, I mean, I run everything on my own still. I don't use help. I have one shop that I'm partnered with an artist on, but that's only so that we can both upload our artwork there, and there's a royalty agreement, or like basically partner in the shop that way. But yeah, otherwise it's me, man. So it can be done solo. I've always just had this hang up about getting, having a VA. I'm too much of a control freak, and that's my weakness, right? Like that's something that RJ, for example, building a team, is great at, that I suck at, right? So you get, there's strengths. The three of us have strengths that complement each other's weaknesses, and I think that's what makes for
Dude,
one.
you know what? Like, I think about it too. You like, if someone's gonna like rip you off, or if someone's gonna steal from you, it's gonna happen regardless, right? And it's okay. It's part of life, I think, and it's totally fine. It's normal. Like if you think about it that way, right? Or if you're, I'm not saying like you just in general, Jay, but I'm just saying speaking just in general. But it's more like, if I give someone $400 and I'm not expecting it back, right? Let someone borrow $400. If they give it back to me, I'm not expecting it back. As we get older, we understand that, right? And it's like, okay, only reason I'm giving this person $400 is because, like, I don't expect
that person. You're like, this person needs my help. I have the money.
Yeah, but I don't expect it back though.
Let me just like try to brain meld what you just said. Okay, so I think what you're trying to say is that ultimately, I'm like, okay. So what you're trying to say is that at the end of the day, when it comes to having a VA, when it comes to outsourcing work and having that fear about, oh, well, what if this person figures out what I'm doing and then just goes and opens their shop and rips off all my designs? Or what if this person, I trained them so good that they just don't want to work for me anymore, and then they go make their own store and they're making whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have this fear. Okay, like true story. Lots of people have this fear. Lots of people are afraid of being copied. They're afraid of being trolled online or ridiculed or whatever. They're afraid of failure. And, as a result, they let that stop them from taking the added necessary steps in order to progress with certain areas of their business. Okay. But what Arch is saying is like, the reality of the situation is when you start putting your products, your designs, your ideas out online, there will always be somebody at some point in your online journey who copies you. Okay. Yeah. There's going to always be somebody at your online journey that like stabs you in the back that you thought was like cool. And then just, it turns out that person wasn't. And that's also true of life, right? Like nobody walks through life having these like perfectly rosy moments all the way through. It's kind of like the joys and the triumphs. You need like those lower moments to really appreciate the amazing successes and the highs of, those triumphs, right? Like it's part of the journey. Yeah. So understand that going in, if you understand, okay, yeah, there's going to be a moment where maybe I'm getting really successful and some other shop just comes and steals all my designs, puts them up in like a Shopify or on eBay or some weird place and like cuts me down, like cuts it down by like $10 a shirt. And I can't compete with that because my stuff's quality. That's going to happen. But there are ways that you can prevent those people from continuing to use your items. There are solutions to those problems that have been tried and tested and proven, and you are fully capable of going through and really accelerating continuously despite that kind of crap happening, right? So at the end of the day, that it's some of those business practices and some of that mindset that we're going to be working on kind of instilling in you, like that confidence in that, you know what? no matter what happens, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I know there's a community that I can go and ask for help, and they're going to help me, and they're going to give me like great information. And maybe like along the way, even while you're doing this 30-day Etsy challenge, you're going to make some friends in this group, and you're going to be like, oh, you know who would know about this? Maybe my girl T or my girl Christine or whoever that you made friends with in the group. You know what I'm saying? And so it just, you know, like you can't let fear essentially motivate everything that you do in your life. It's like that whole saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's because everything that you want is always on the opposite side of your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Everything that's exhilarating, everything that you learn that's new, every time you grow, it's outside of your comfort zone, right? So if you just stay in this little bubble of like, oh, I don't want to do anything because I'm afraid someone's going to laugh at me, or I'm afraid someone's going to say something bad about me, or I'm afraid someone will eventually copy me, then you're not actually fully living your life. You're not actually fully engaging in, you know, the creation of your own lifestyle, your own business, or your own goals. And honestly, like, is that how you want to live?
No, like yeah, that's a great point, because think back to anything that you've ever gotten excited over like the first time you did it. I don't know. It doesn't have to be like skydiving. It can be like the first time you went fishing, or the first time you went for a canoe ride, or the first time you saw the ocean, or, you know, for me being landlocked right in the middle of this continent, something simple, or the first time you went on a road trip. I mean, maybe the anxiety of like, oh my God, is the house going to be okay if we leave? Like, I have that. My dad had that, right? He would run around and make sure all the taps were tight, make sure the furnace was off, make sure this. Oh my God. And the whole way for like 4 hours out of an 8-hour road trip, it'd be like, oh no, I think I left the oven on. Like, Chuck, we left, like my mom would say to him, we left at 9 a.m. The oven was not on, stop, right? Like, you're okay. But then, you know, once you can let all that anxiety go, you realize you can start to appreciate, even if it's a road trip, you can appreciate the scenery, the things you've seen for the first time, right? And I think that's you know, where you first step out of that comfort zone is like when you start to realize that, hey man, like I put my foot in the pool over here, got my toes wet, and the world didn't end. And now I can get, you know, and there's just, you cross that line now, it's like unfathomable how much else is out there if you just get out of that comfort zone, right? A lot of people end up, you know, rolling with the punches. Like I've said before, the comfortable rut, not the comfortable groove. It's a rut because it's easier to stick in it. That 9 to 5, get up, go to work, come back, hate your job, and in the process, come back, you know, make dinner, have a shower, whatever you're doing, go to bed, get up, do it all over again. What about if you could, like, maybe, to, like Jessica was saying in here, pick up a little bit on your side hustle or something, so that maybe your significant other or maybe you even don't have to put yourself in danger or jeopardy or do something else. And then you can have a little bit more money or time or freedom to go see some of the greener things, like on the other side, right? So yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's so easy to get comfortable and stuck, but I think everybody needs to step out of your comfort zone. The only way you learn is you're, you know, in a new surrounding, new environment.
Here's a quick little story. I had an illustrator, right? And I hired him, and he was talented. He was freaking awesome. I was like, dude, you're freaking good. And I love illustrators too, by the way, because I love to see their work and their creativity and what the hell they're thinking about in their mind when they're drawing it and stuff. So ended up, he probably did some good work for me. And then like the last 10, it seemed to take a little bit longer for the illustrations. And then I ended up finding them online, and I was like, dude, these are mine. Like, why are you selling them online on your shop? And I thought we had like an agreement. And he's just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll take them down right now. And I'm just like, dude, he's just like, you broke that trust right there. It's like, it's gone. It's like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Sorry about that. Like, we're over. And that's literally like, that's it. Nothing to dwell on. Next. You know what I mean? It happens. That's part of the game. And that was like, okay, kind of bummed out a little bit, but then, you know, 20 minutes later, let it go. I'm like, okay, cool. Got to go on to the next one. Let's go. Let's keep going. Simple. Something like that happens. It happens. So it's whatever though. But now I'm here telling the story to you guys. So, yeah, no,
where we
that
at?
is that.
6 hours, 18 minutes, less than 6.5 hours to go. So I don't know if there's any reason you're on the fence. It's as easy as saying there's no reason you need to be on the fence, right? It works out to under $2.50 a day. I think it was $2.43 a day for the duration of the 40 days that you have us for. So, I mean, if that's not worth putting into your business, I don't know what is for the bang for buck you get out of this thing. It's insane. And Teresa's comment there, plus you have such an accomplishment when you conquer your fears and have success. So stepping outside of your comfort zone is part one, but actually having success, like saying it's exhilarating. And I don't know how to put it into words other than like seeing something work for the first time. When it clicks, it's like, holy crap, I can do this. It's not like, it's taking that first step, right? So it's such a good feeling. And that's all I want everybody to have, a little bit of that. So oh man, Sebastian, what's the challenge about? You might want to watch the
It's about Etsy. I think I just died a little bit on the inside. I'm assuming that you're just joining us live this one time, and you haven't been around or seen us live before for the last 10 days or so. But what the challenge is, it's a 30-day Etsy challenge that will help people learn how to get started with selling on Etsy and start making sales on that platform. So what it is it's 30 days of live training and content from us three coaches that basically we are selling. It is the last day to get into this challenge today. And we're going to teach tips, tricks, strategies, all of the good things. And there's a crap ton of bonuses that you get when you join this challenge with us. So yeah, check it out. I mean, maybe after we're not live, just rewind this video and watch the first few minutes, or check us out at the link that's here in the chat that RJ is posting in the comments. It will explain it in a huge amount of detail, all of the things that come with the challenge, all of what you can learn and do and have. And there's prizes too, I should mention.
Yeah.
No, I think Sebastian was the guy who's Sebastian, correct me if I'm wrong. You were asking about if you can start an Etsy store in your country, but it was on the list that you couldn't do it, right? Or it wasn't available on the list, your country or something like that. Remember, I messaged you guys in the chat. Had someone on YouTube asking that question. I don't think they can open an Etsy shop in their country or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what we can offer there. That's a between you and Etsy thing, or Etsy and your country. So unfortunately, our hands are tied that way. We don't have any pull or sway that way. Jessica,
she popped in.
Sheila is an admin, and there she is. She's in the comments now. Sheila's a rock star. She's probably the best admin anybody could ever hope for, and she's also an incredible wealth of knowledge with Pinterest. And one of our modules or whatever. Pardon?
I said, and with other things too. I'm peeping Sheila sometimes because Sheila also with the Ready Aim Scale group. So I'm keeping her responses to some Slack questions, and I'm like, damn, this girl knows what she's talking about.
Let's not forget about the beautiful hair. Let's not forget about that.
Of course.
Okay?
Sheila's amazing though. She's been in our corner from day one. She helps keep us all organized, and she is gonna, blow your mind with the potential of Pinterest specifically in this challenge. So yeah, I'm happy that people are happy that we have Sheila on board because Sheila's incredible. Somebody mentioned the prizes, but yeah, Dee mentioned the prizes. We do have prizes. We're giving away one Apple iPad Pro, one turnkey Etsy shop with support for 30 days after the challenge. We're giving away one Cricut or Cricut, however you pronounce it. So you've got the opportunity to win one of these things. We're giving away 1 hour coaching call with your choice of coach. We're giving away 1 year membership to Ready Aim Scale group that we're in, which is what Dee was referring to that Sheila's in as well. It's a community of the bulk of it is people who have taken the Etsy challenge and just wanted to stick together and kind of keep growing. But it's not only Etsy; it transcends platforms. So there's like KDP, there's Shopify, there's Merch by Amazon, all the other things out there.
Yeah.
That,
Marketing, all that cool stuff. AMS,
marketing, typography, design work. There's also we're also giving away 1 year of Free Rank Pro access. We're also giving away one of ours being Dion's and mine, the co-authors of the Etsy Crash Course. Somebody was talking about something to train VAs with. This is one of those things that people have thought it was so well put together that they actually used it to train VAs because it's modular also. Everything totals over $3,400. You can see details of that stuff on the etsychallenge.com page. And that said, mentioning eRank, Anthony from eRank. If you don't know what eRank is, go check it out. Go join their Facebook group. They also are contributing free eRank Pro access for the duration of the challenge. So everybody who signs up tonight in the next 6 hours and 20 minutes, and who signed up previously, but you'll all get eRank Pro access for the duration of our challenge, so 40 days or whatever it works out to be with weekends. So eRank's awesome. It's the SEO tool for Etsy. It's so much. It's hard to say without.
Pretty cool that Anthony did that for us. So that's really cool. Building those.
And we have him on. I think right now is day 4, so the 4th day of the challenge. Anthony and or maybe Starla and or maybe Pam from the eRank crew coming on to give us a 101 walkthrough through eRank and how you can use. He's the man, eRank, behind eRank, and he knows what's up with Etsy specific SEO and how to figure out new keywords, long tail keywords. So it's crazy. The amount of value is insane.
He's a real cool guy. Anthony's awesome. He can get away with pretty much saying anything he wants in a way. And yeah, he's a cool guy. So yeah. Sebastian, not to get off topic with this, but you should start planning on doing a Merch by Amazon challenge. And that's interesting. Very interesting. We haven't discussed anything about that, but
I just started merch myself. So the people who actually know what they're talking about as it relates to merch, I'm very transparent about it. It's Jay and RJ. It's not me. I'm on tier 25. I got started and I got some sales going, but I'm not going to try and tell you nothing about merch.
No, but you started though. That's the most important thing, right? You did it. You're doing it, and you started and you're doing it now because you're making sales technically.
It's true. But y'all are the ones who know what you're talking about when it comes to how to work merch and how to tier up and sell things with merch. I'm off to a decent start, but y'all are the ones that would know that. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. I know Etsy, I know Shopify, I know marketing and branding and communications and tech. Okay? That's what I know.
For being only tier 4,000 or whatever on merch, I'm doing pretty well, I think, with over 20,000 sold. But the thing is with merch is that you don't control anything. You have zero control. There's no customer interaction that you have with Etsy. There's no resonating with your audience the way you can with Etsy. It's a boutique-y environment. It's I don't know. You have the control. Like it's kind of like the baby steps into e-commerce, right? You get to create your own branded shop. You get to curate your shop. You get to interact with the customers. You get to see the rewards of your efforts, right? It's a whole new thing, and I don't know, anybody who's been on there can tell you that it's completely different. It's a different client, different customer. But merch is something, or Etsy, is something that I want to help people to learn, because it's the profit margins, the royalties, or whatever you're doing, like it blows merch out of the water that way, right?
No, for sure it does.
But yeah,
Got a shout out right here again. RJ's videos helped me get to that point so far. Thanks, man. Awesome. Glad I can help. Much love. Always about showing love and respect and helping each other grow.
Teresa is saying right under that, can we get when we get the pro version of E-Rank on Monday? Correct. Yes, you will all get it on Monday. If you've signed up and you're tuning in, make sure you go sign up for the free version. You need to be signed in there, and then they'll update. But I'm sure we'll have to tell people on Monday to go do that, and Anthony will go in and approve, update everybody. But yeah, go sign up for the free stuff. Take a look in there. You'll be blown away with how much you get for the free stuff. But yeah, and then the pro version is next level. It's out of this world.
Yeah.
Right. Like we've been on just almost about an hour and a half. I'm telling you, if you're
6 hours,
you're still sitting on the fence, get off the fence, man. So I'm going to tell you straight up, because there's so much value. There's so much content. There's, a huge community. There is so much to learn, so much you're going to be able to apply and directly see, the results of that effort that you're putting in on. And I think, it's one of the best places for a beginner to be. It's one of the best places for an intermediate or even a more advanced seller who wants to jump into a different niche or open a different store or just see more success with their current store. It literally is a mind-blowing experience, I think. And I'm not just saying that because I'm one of the coaches and I put together all these bonuses, but I'm telling you, if I'm looking at Dion from like 10 years ago before, or maybe like 12 years ago now, but before I started selling online, if there was a course like this, I would have snatched it for $97 every day of the week. I am telling you right now.
Yeah. Keep myself in check, I would have been like some of the people here are doing it a second time, right? Like this is the perfect time of year to do it. We have more people shopping online for the first time in their lives, like 30%. I can't even describe how, like that's millions of people, like tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions, honestly. People that have no option with the pandemic that we've had for 2020. They weren't able to leave their places of residence or whatever. They're shopping online for the first time. Like it's crazy. Not to mention this is Q4 going in, right? This is the busiest time of year to hunker down and get ready. So you want to turbo boost your Etsy shop, then this is it.
Mm-hmm. Especially just going into Q4, like it's the busiest time of the year. It's gonna be fun. A lot of interesting stuff going on. A lot of things, new things to learn. Us helping you, making sure everything's okay with everything that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I'm excited for this to help everyone meet new people, gain those long-term relationships, right? As you guys can see, like how we're doing with Anthony, how we kind of just built a long-term relationship with him. And now he's offering stuff like pretty much for free for you guys, right? And that's really cool. And that's what the community does. We're supposed to help each other, right? Not put each other down, help each other, love each other, show respect to each other. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. We're all individuals. We can all do this together.
Yeah, and that's the whole point, to build each other up and to all win.
Yep. So that's it right there, guys. I dropped that Etsy challenge link right there. If you guys are on the fence about anything, please, you guys can email us at support@etsychallenge.com. You can also message me personally, RJ Martinez, or J or D, and reach out to us if you have any questions about anything. So yeah, that's it.
That's it. Join us before the card closes. See you guys later.
Cards closing
in
6 hours. Peace out.